Iran will have a catastrophic week as karma catches up. Tehran began Monday, May 11, 2026, trying to appear strong with lies. Pro-Iran networks spread videos, images, and false claims to exaggerate victories, overstate damage to the United States and Israel, and confuse the public. NewsGuard identified 98 false claims linked to the conflict with hundreds of millions of views. But the facts show a nervous, pressured regime and a large coalition forming. The Revolutionary Guard threatened ships, launched attacks against American vessels, tried to intimidate the United Kingdom and France, demanded sanctions relief, and called for an end to the naval blockade. And they even tried to sell this as a generous proposal. Trump rejected the Iranian response as completely unacceptable, and then the tables turned against Iran itself. Those who tried to accuse Washington of being out of control now look like the side that lost its head, miscalculated, and pushed the region into an unprecedented crisis. I'll tell you all about that in a moment, but right now, you'll want to be subscribed to the channel to stay well informed. Real-time information with the best journalistic quality you've ever seen. With the standard of credibility, Milson Alves. Now the image of being out of control falls on Iran. The regime says it wants an agreement but threatens American bases, says it wants stability but puts commercial ships at risk, says it wants respect but tries to intimidate European vessels. The American warning tone has changed. Instead of accepting Iranian blackmail, United States officials have started saying that American restraint should not be mistaken for a lack of firmness. The American military chief made it clear that the Central Command and the Joint Force remain ready to resume major operations against Iran if ordered. This is the key reversal this week. Before, Tehran tried to say that its containment was over. Now Washington shows that its patience also has a limit. The Iranian regime bet that it could push the limits without a response. It found out that the rope can snap back against it. The Revolutionary Guard also appears confused and without clear direction. One part of the regime threatens war, another part tries to negotiate through mediators. One faction talks about absolute resistance. Another calls for an end to the blockade, relief from sanctions, and the release of resources. Trump has already pointed to infighting and confusion within the Iranian leadership as reasons for the difficulty in reaching an agreement. Analysts discuss the extent of this division, but the regime's public behavior shows a simple fact. Tehran does not speak with a single voice. While diplomacy tries to buy time, the military wing increases the risk. While the government tries to find a way out, the Revolutionary Guard insists on provocation. The lies also weigh against Iran. During the war, pro-Iran networks spread videos, images, and false claims to exaggerate victories, inflate damage against the United States and Israel, and confuse the public. NewsGuard identified 98 false claims linked to the conflict with hundreds of millions of views, many of them pushing an agenda favorable to Tehran. The Institute for Strategic Dialogue also recorded pro-Iran networks using fake and AI-generated content to amplify war propaganda. This is the part that Iranian state television doesn't show. The regime needs to fabricate a sense of victory because reality is too harsh for its own nature. This propaganda war became clear when claims circulated about American ships being hit, bases devastated, and Iranian victories, which were later disputed by Western sources and fact-checkers. Meanwhile, the United States claimed to have destroyed small Iranian vessels, intercepted missiles and drones, and guided ships along a route considered safe under Project Freedom. Karma also appears in the reaction of other nations. The United Kingdom sent the HMS Dragon to the region. France got involved in maritime security coordination. More than 40 nations were called to discuss a mission to protect trade, remove mines, and reduce the risk to civilian vessels. Iran tried to scare the Europeans with the threat of an immediate response, but ended up producing the opposite effect. London and Paris had a reason to organize a larger front. Tehran wanted to appear to be in control of the crisis. Now it sees the crisis being discussed by an international table that treats the Revolutionary Guard as a global security problem. The pressure keeps working day after day, hitting exactly where the regime feels it the most. The Revolutionary Guard pushes the world toward an illegal war when it turns civilian routes, commercial ships, and global energy into pieces of political pressure. But this method has become outdated. The historical comparison helps to understand a lot. In 1986, Muammar Gaddafi tried to turn the Gulf of Sidra in the Mediterranean into an area of political intimidation. He declared a line of death and said that American forces should not cross that area. The logic was similar to that of regimes that use military threats to control routes, seas, and negotiations. But Ronald Reagan did not accept the blackmail. The United States Navy crossed the area to assert freedom of navigation. Libyan planes and missile batteries reacted, and Washington responded by striking Libyan vessels and military positions. The White House reported at the time that a Libyan vessel was hit by Harpoon missiles after being considered a threat to American forces. The Los Angeles Times reported that the United States destroyed Libyan vessels without losing any ships or planes. Iran now faces the same risk. That's why this week is catastrophic for Tehran. The Revolutionary Guard provoked a power that has the capability to respond, allies to share the effort, and political justification to increase the pressure. Other nations have also learned that regimes that rely on intimidation pay a high price when they try to impose facts by force. Argentina took the Falklands in 1982, thinking that the United Kingdom would not react strongly, but the British response overthrew the military junta and became a lesson in miscalculation. Iraq invaded Kuwait in 1990, expecting to control oil and territory, but ended up facing an international coalition led by the United States. Slobodan Milosevic's Serbia tried to resist Western pressure in the Balkans and ended up isolated, bombed, and politically hounded. In all these cases, harsh regimes confused internal propaganda with real strength. Iran faces the same risk now, convincing its base that it is winning while the world is organizing to limit its moves. The lie that the Revolutionary Guard tells is being exposed daily by the facts. If the economy were strong, Tehran wouldn't make lifting sanctions the centerpiece of its proposal. If the Revolutionary Guard were confident, it wouldn't react with so many threats to every European move. If the leadership were united, there wouldn't be such different messages from diplomacy, the military, and state propaganda. What is happening now is a brutal test for Tehran. If it keeps lying to its own people, it will see the gap between propaganda and reality grow more and more. Iran's catastrophic week is not a matter of bad luck. It comes from Tehran's choices. Since Trump's rise to power, those who push the world to the brink of war have been rewarded. I'm Milson Alves, an international affairs specialist, and my purpose is to keep you truthfully informed every day. The news links are in the video description. Leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and at the end, check out the comments so you can be even more engaged with the Milson Alves community. See you later.